All right,
Dad is not scared.
Chad, pull out your phone. It's the last song that you downloaded on Apple Music.
Oh, you're not gonna like this one.
Why not?
It's Gavin Adcock.
Uh,
I'll do the second most recent one. Oh, you actually want to do this? We're gonna get taken off of Spotify, dude.
no, I don't want you to play it. I just want to talk about it.
Oh. Well, we'll do. If we're gonna talk about it, then yeah, we're gonna do Gavin Adcock. Especially right now, that's very topical.
You're going to get canceled already.
Say,
And go.
If it makes you guys feel any better, I haven't really listened to any Gavin Adcock at all, except for like maybe a cigarette.
See, that's the one I downloaded.
Yeah.
I like that song.
That's a good
It's
song. Really good song.
All his other songs suck though.
If Gavin
All right,
Adcock
so-
messages me on Facebook, I'm going to be a star. I will find a way to come out of that a star.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is
All
true.
right.
Morgan
So-
Wallen threw a chair off a building, and I got messaged by Gavin Adcock. I mean, this is
All
You
right.
got messaged by the guy that destroyed Billy Bob's.
this is true. Why would you do that? That's all I want to know. Why would you do that? What's the point in that?
That's not the only part that sucks. Most
Well, Chad, so what was the song they downloaded by Gavin Adcock?
Oh yeah, a cigarette. Very good song.
His top played song.
His only good song. It's actually not his top played. It's his second top played.
What's the first one?
I'll find out. It's not good.
Y'all are gonna have to get something older.
Oh, Run Your Mouth.
Run Your Mouth. Is his
Yeah.
I
top
heard a
played?
little bit about
It's
it.
top
but
played.
I know nothing.
All right, we'll come back to the Gavin Adcock.
Oh, you don't feel like broaching that topic right now?
Not right this second. Zane, what's your most recent download on Spotify and or Apple Music?
Well, I'd have to thank Cody Facing for this one because we were stuck in traffic on I-40 whenever 3 semi-trucks piled up at 7 o'clock the night before, and they had nuclear-grade explosives in them. So they had everything shut down. But it would be Korn, a song called Get Up featuring Skrillex.
That corn?
Yeah, like that Korn.
That was not the same song.
Not the same song, though. But it has Skrillex, and he wanted to listen to some dubstep and wanted to hear it, so...
That's awesome. I do like Skrillex a lot. It takes
Yeah.
a lot of time to make dubstep. People don't understand that. It's not
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't
No, it
just press a
doesn't.
button.
No, it doesn't.
Say, I need to show you a video that I showed Chad earlier of me doing a cover of First of the Year Equinox by Skrillex.
Chad, you said it doesn't take a lot of time to make
Yeah.
dubstep?
Dude, I used to
it
make
takes
that
a lot
shit.
of time to make good dubstep.
Yeah, you got to have them filthy drops in there, bro.
That's somewhat fair. Once you get your presets set up for your sounds, it doesn't.
Yeah, no, they're like in a recording studio recording sounds. They're using that. They're taking
Right,
it,
right,
they're
right.
warping it.
Skrillex is a little.
He's pretty good.
He's good. He's good. He's good.
I didn't know
Oh,
you were
but
a
I've
famous
also-
dubstep artist, Chad. Wait a
I'm
minute.
not.
on
I am internationally known by like 30
Say,
people though.
on the top on the topic on the topic of dubstep, since we're on it, since it.
Nah,
the
but
song
shit, I used to
had
make those
included
songs in like 8
Skrillex,
hours.
I want to say that another good artist or whatever is going to be. Let me find it real quick. It's going to be Knife Party.
Knife Party
They're
by
really-
Skrillex?
No,
Or who?
Knife Party is
Party's
the
a band.
artist,
Okay, the
or
artist,
whatever.
not band.
and
artist.
they're really good. They have one called Internet Friends, another one called Centipede. That's really good.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember them. They were
yeah,
way
they were
better
really,
than
really
Skrillex.
good.
I gotta listen to Knife Party. I like dubstep.
He recommended Bass Nectar too.
Yeah, Bass
Nectar's
Nectar
good.
is really good.
Cody, what's your most recent download?
Download is kind of unfair. It's an old song, but I didn't have it in my iTunes, and it was requested. But "You Want It All" by Silvertide.
Who is Silvertide?
I was just about to ask
You
that
didn't-
same
come
question.
Did
on.
Luke request that?
Huh?
Did Luke request it?
No,
He
no,
didn't?
it was
Either
just-
Luke or
I
Gary.
just realized I didn't have it, and I wanted to have it. So
Who's
What?
Silver? No, really though. Who's Silvertide?
Yeah, I don't know who they are either.
What era?
hold on.
Yeah, I would not play it too loud.
That's why I'm passing it.
That's fair. That's fair.
I do know this song.
You do know that song?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. Luke showed it to me on the way home. That's why I thought it was
Really?
Luke. Yeah. Baby, come and get it, come on. Yes, I
It
do
does
know
sound
this
like something
song,
Luke would
yes.
listen to.
No, that's not a. It wasn't. It wasn't per se proposed by Luke, I guess, but it was a song that we were sitting around talking, and I was like, "Hey, have
Oh.
you heard?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna play it." I was like, "I don't have that on my iTunes, so I had to download
Had to
it."
download it.
That's
That's
awesome.
fair.
Silvertide's okay. I dig them. I know who they are now.
What about you, Chris? What's the last song you downloaded?
What's the last song you downloaded, Dewey? Don't you
gonna-
don't you
I
neglect
thought we already
it.
did mine.
You neglected on me.
The last song I did was on Apple Music. Zach Top, "Beer for Breakfast."
Probably the best song on the list
I
so
think
far.
Zach Top is going to. Well, not that it needs saving, but I think Zach Top is going to make a pretty big splash
Oh, it
Yeah.
needs saving.
I think
in country
so.
music. I don't know if it needs saving. That's a hard topic. I mean, do you consider like co-whistle country?
No,
Okay, that's
but
what I'm
he's
saying.
good. But
he's
I don't
awesome.
think he's country.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah,
Like,
I like co-whistle.
what's your favorite song by Co Wetzel?
I like Fuss and Fight.
Oh yeah.
I really like Fuss and Fight.
Dude.
Dewey?
I don't know a favorite song by him. I've
Man,
listened to him,
Nine
but
Lives, Black Cat. Man, that's a great fucking song. That is a country song.
I have to say probably it goes more than one here for Co Wetzel, but two of my favorite songs by him is Honey Pain.
Yeah.
Just a slow, simple walk up into like different chords and stuff in the guitar playing, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just not actual strumming chords until the end of what he's saying, but it's just constantly having to move around.
Yeah.
And then another one is Too High to Cry.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good one.
Too
That's
High
a
to
really
Cry.
that's a really good one.
Is that,
Drug
is that the
Problem?
sellout album?
Yeah, sellout album.
Dude, I
think.
love that.
Drug Problem's also really good.
Yeah.
I would consider him country, but dude's killer. His band's
Yeah, no.
really good
Oh,
too.
yeah,
he plays
yeah.
his own music and he does a good job.
Morgan Wallen's country.
But again,
There's
I
a
don't
weird
consider him
distinction
country
now
either.
between country and rock. I mean,
And hip hop, really,
Yeah.
with the Morgan Wallen.
but if you have a,
Explain that phenomenon.
Say
yeah, go for
I
it.
think popular music. You just call it pop. Right?
Yeah. Elvis was a pop star.
Country is now the popular music because of.
And so all the different,
influence. And so
yep.
when something becomes pop, everything fucking influences because everybody wants to cross over and be on the popular chart.
Yep.
Same thing happened with like funk and stuff back in the day. It became, it was in everything. And then hip hop and that, like the rock, Aerosmith, hip hop, Run DMC thing happened
Yeah,
Yeah.
during.
that is true.
Because Aerosmith was so hot, hip hop wasn't getting a lot of traction.
That's weird. Was that a rock song or a hip hop song?
And then who was that did
it was
the,
a rock song first, and then
Oh,
Run DMC, right? Ended
Yeah.
up doing the rap part on the
For
next
the
part.
mashup, do you
Yeah, for the
consider it
mashup.
rock or hip hop,
Ooh,
or is it just pop music at the time?
it's just pop music.
I would consider it popular music, yeah.
Yeah,
But
Like, 'cause there's not-
genre-wise, it's probably going to be classified either hip hop or rock.
But I'll say-
depending on whoever,
Yeah,
it's not necessarily. It doesn't have too many 808 beats and or anything else like that. It's more or less the original track, and then the drum beat behind it without the guitars and stuff as Run DMC's rapping, with a little bit of like hi hat and snare or something like that. That's all it is.
The dude who did the Fast, something, Freddie, Fab Five, what's his fucking name?
No clue.
is he a part of Run
The
DMC?
one who did that fucking mix, yes. The DJ at the time.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
We can look it up real quick.
Yeah, let's look it up.
Google. Google knows everything. We watched the documentary on it one night in here. Or I did. You kind of came in and out sometimes.
Look, man. When you throw on documentaries, I'm like, either I'm going to bed
What?
or
You
I'm gonna
hate
sit there and watch.
documentaries?
No, I like some. I like some documentaries. Okay.
I want to watch something real.
Yes. I don't know, man.
Hey,
I've been-
whoa.
I like some good TV as well. I've been in Dexter lately.
Yeah. You should. Have you watched The Boys? You need to.
I need to give it a better shake.
Um,
I actually have Prime again now, but I got it for the month, and then the free trial ran up, and I never paid for it again.
right.
You thinking of Rick Rubin?
Rick Rubin?
Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons produced it.
Huh.
So Russell Simmons was Run DMC. It's Riv Run,
I didn't know Rick Rubin produced it.
and then Rick Rubin. I guess I always thought he was a younger guy.
No, he's been around for a while.
I didn't know that.
I mean, I don't know how long,
So-
but for a good while.
While we're on the topic of we were on the topic of country artists, we got kind of distracted there with the popular music stuff. How you guys feel about Zach Bryan or possibly Post Malone coming back coming in the country?
I like Post Malone better than Zach Bryan.
I like Post Malone way better than Zach Bryan.
Yeah.
Zach
Way
Bryan's
better.
too.
Way better. I
Do
don't know
you have
why.
any input?
Yeah, I like him. I like Post Malone better. We saw Zach Bryan right when he was really coming out, probably, and well, you know, it was at
Breaking
Born and
news.
Raised. We saw him at the Born and Raised deal
I didn't know
for
he
Cody
was there.
Jinks. Yeah, he was there, and he's good. But like, I think his song, a lot of them sound kind of the
The
same.
same,
Yeah,
yeah.
But,
And they're all
but
just
nothing against him.
sad
Yeah,
and
yeah, he's
few of them are
he's
really good, though.
Yeah,
Say, I listened to his newer album they just put out, and he's kind of changed up his sound and stuff. He's got
I haven't heard
some
his
more
new
pop
album.
influences. Like he has Bon Iver on one album. He has the Lumineers. And he has
Actually,
some other stuff.
I stayed
too.
at the same hotel as the Lumineers one time.
The hell? His vape's going crazy.
You stayed at the same hotel with Lumineers?
Yeah. So whenever I was in Atlanta 2 years ago for a international woodworking fair, we were staying at this fairly nice hotel, but nothing fancy. And we get back Friday night, and there was a tour bus sitting outside. We're like, huh, that's kind of weird. No logos, no nothing on it, just a massive, obviously a tour bus. And we get home that night, home as in the hotel. We're sitting down in the bar, and everybody in there is talking about the Lumineers concert that they had just gone to. And then someone says, holy shit, they're like outside right now. They were like walking in through a back entrance, kind of trying to be discreet.
Of course they were.
And like, but yeah, no shit. They were
I
just
like Lumineers.
at the same. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know a lot of their stuff, but it was pretty cool that they were there.
I don't know enough about them to form an opinion to not like them.
Correct. That's me. But I also don't have enough of an opinion to like them.
Yeah.
Say,
So back on the country topic. Sorry.
Yes,
you
you
good,
Zach
you
Getting
good.
Bryan.
distracted. Zach
Yeah.
Bryan. And
Had
Post
the
Malone.
Lumineers on a track.
Yeah.
I love Post Malone. I'm not the biggest Zach Bryan guy, but that's just because of song choice, lyric writing. I mean, it's hard because he's a good lyricist. He does a
he
good
is a good
job.
lyricist.
He
and He
is a
tells a
very
good
good
story.
lyricist.
He tells a good story in
Maybe
his
it's the
songs.
way that it's produced that I don't like.
Yeah.
I think whenever he goes into whenever he said he was recording his American Heartbreak album, he went into I can't remember the name of the studio they went to, but he said, I don't want it to be overly produced, whatever. He's like, I just want to go in there and have a guitar in my band, and we're just gonna record it, and that's how it's gonna be.
I like that. That's how Tabin Wall records.
I will say I do like
Hear me out for
that
just one
about
second.
him.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So pop it up.
still
again.
music related.
Love Alan Jackson.
But
Cody,
yeah,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
sorry, I was gonna say the whole Post Malone's new album and stuff, and how he got so many different artists, like major country artists on there, like Hank Williams Jr., Dolly Parton, Brad Paisley, Luke Combs. He has two
Yo.
songs with Luke Combs. Blake Shelton,
Billy Strings,
Billy Strings,
Morgan Wallen.
Morgan
No,
Wallen,
Billy Strings
Hardy. Trying to think.
Oh,
trying
it
to
all
think.
sounds great. I mean, have you seen his?
Ernest.
Ernest
from-
is on there. Yeah. Say.
Ernest
Did not
is?
know that.
Really? Wow.
Are you making that up?
No,
Somebody-
John Daly.
somebody
John
fact check
Daly's
him.
kid is Ernest, and and while we're on topic of Ernest, I think he has some good song stuff. But I honestly think my favorite song by him is "Flower Shops" with Morgan Wallen.
Yeah,
I've never actually listened to it.
Dude, it's
No, I've
so
never
good.
heard Ernest.
Yeah, it's
I've
a good
heard
song.
of him
It's a
because
good
he was
song.
on Theo Vaughn. I did not know.
He's always played, like he'll go to PGA events and they'll get a guitar out and give it to him, and he'll do Knocking on Heaven's Door and like sing a couple songs.
yeah. He does a deal in Dardanelle, I think. We went and saw it
Ernest
a
starts off singing. It's
few
like,
years ago, and I think
"It's
Joe
a
Diffie played there.
day."
Jamie Johnson was there too. Yeah.
And I can't remember the lyrics right now. But I remember I went and saw Morgan Wallen in concert back when they came to Little Rock a few years ago, and tickets weren't like super expensive. I only paid $80 for a ticket, and
That's not bad at all.
I was like sitting there, and then he brought Ernest out, and he started playing the song and stuff, and I was like, damn, I can relate to this song. But Chris,
There is no record of John Daly being Ernest's dad. So no, there's not. So from X, Twitter, Ernest said, my dad, John Daly, just texted me, was upset that I didn't get permission to cut my hair, shake my head. I'm 30. I don't have to ask anymore. And then there's
Sounds
a few
kind of like a
videos.
joke.
It says John Daly could very well be Ernest's dad. Is John Daly Ernest's dad? I don't. There's not a name for his dad on here.
Which Ernest is, I believe, just a stage name. So like,
Yeah.
his real name,
But if it was his dad, he would have the Daly name, right?
not necessarily. He might want to be independently.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that.
Dude, if John Daly was my dad, I would definitely have his last name.
No.
Yes. It's like, hey, Dad, can I have
Yeah.
can I have some money to go to Nashville?
Or
Daily money.
Yes, I need some money. You go win another golf tournament, Dad.
but then when you hit it big, and then everybody's like, he just got it big because he's got daddy's money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did. So sorry. Oops.
Like not to kick the people that are working their asses off every day, every night, whatever, but fuck you. So another good topic here, Chris. Why don't you tell everyone what made you really get into playing music and getting to play guitar and stuff?
Sorry, I'm trying to watch this video because I'm invested in John Daly. I mean,
No, definitely not.
I knew he wasn't. I knew he
I
wasn't.
hate to be for
You
this to
are
be your
so
podcast,
adamant,
but for
Cody.
me to
It's
ask
true.
questions
It's a
like I'm
fact.
the
Oh, you're
host,
good.
whatever,
You're
but,
good.
Fair, why not just give us a little bit of insight on how you got started playing and what influenced you to start playing blues and stuff?
So what got me started into playing blues? Well, so I was probably 7, 8 years old, and my dad always was surrounded by. I was always surrounded by music because my dad. He put on a video of Stevie Ray Vaughan on the TV, and I was drawn to it instantly. Like it was like seeing fire for the first time. It was the greatest thing ever. Never seen anything like it in my life. And then ever since then, I mean, I've always been influenced by the blues. So it branched from Stevie Ray Vaughan to Johnny Copeland into different Texas blues artists like Chris Duarte. And then, I mean, I know Kenny Wayne Shepherd is from Louisiana. But people like that, I mean, John Mayer. And then it kind of got into like, I don't know, like Johnny Highland, people like that. Brent Mason, Daniel Donato, all the people from Nashville. That kind of influenced how I play.
So you mentioned
Say-
Kenny Wayne Shepherd.
Yeah, he's
How-
from Louisiana.
How heavily would you say you were influenced by him in some of your songwriting? You might even say.
Pretty heavily. I
Okay.
mean, I was pretty heavily influenced by Kenny Wayne Shepherd. Lyricism came all from my wife.
Right.
I helped
She's
write.
fantastic.
But when it comes to music, I was pretty heavily influenced by Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I mean, there's some similarities, of course. Yeah, dude, I'd love to meet Kenny Wayne Shepherd. Him and Noah and the whole band. That'd be awesome. Wes Jeans is a cool guy. I like him.
Say,
And Lance Lopez.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, like this damn guitar and what's the other one of your songs?
Peace of Mind?
Peace of Mind. Those are two really, really, really good songs lyrically.
like
like
Peace of
very, very good.
It's weird because Treat You Well. Thank you. But it's
Treat
weird
You Well
'cause
is my favorite.
Treat You Well is a very close contender to being more liked. To be more liked than Please God Don't Play These. Please don't play those.
Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't.
But Treat You Well almost has more views than Peace of Mind the last time I checked.
Really?
Yeah, between all platforms.
I
Treat You Well's a pretty close second.
I wish we played it more.
This damn
because-
guitar's still first.
Right.
By
Of
like
course.
2,000 listens.
Right.
Yeah.
Treat You Well is a great song though. It's the most like traditional bluesy sounding song.
Yeah, Treat You Well is good. I'm gonna
That
have
you got.
another hot topic here.
up?
And this is for everybody. Anybody who wants to input on them on the topic.
Oh, I got an input.
How we feel about Jimi Hendrix?
The most influential guitar player of all time, not necessarily the best.
That's fair.
I wouldn't even say that as much as like acid.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the reason why people call him the best guitarist of all time is the fact that at the time there was like really no really popular African American artist at the time.
That's true.
That was heavily
Mainstream.
influencing everyone's music choice and making them listen to him. And the fact that he was left-handed, flipped the guitar upside down, and played it upside down.
It was new.
It was new.
It was different.
And new, and the fact that he just really didn't care. Like if you want to set a guitar on fire on stage, he would do it. And everyone was like, "Oh, this dude's like devil's music." Blah blah. blah. And then also on the whole acid thing is a lot of people back in the day would say, you know, you could be in the middle of a trip, listen to all these other bands just vibing, but whenever Jimmy would play, it would grab your attention and pretty much bring you off that trip and just draw you into it, and you focus mainly on him.
So like the polar
That's
opposite
awesome.
of Pink Floyd, man.
Exactly.
Dude, Pink Floyd, that whole Pink Floyd and Wizard of Oz thing
Yeah.
is real. Take
So,
some
Dewey,
mushrooms
what-
and
what's
listen
your-
to that. It's weird.
Dewey, what's your input on that? On the whole Jimi
Jimi
Hendrix
Hendrix.
thing. I mean, you got
How do
any
you
input
feel?
on it?
On Jimi Hendrix part?
Yeah.
Man, I've always liked him. Whatever, I was listening to music when I first started learning music or whatever. He was one of the guys that I listened to a lot. So him and Eric Clapton, and then same Kenny Wade and Shepherd too. It's kind of the same with that. But I've always liked him. Just very interesting. Seen some interviews with him, and he's kind of. I mean,
He was
seemed like
kind
a
of out
very
there, you know.
was
He's
a
like,
little out
they're like,
there.
how you know what notes play? And like, I see
Yeah,
them
yeah.
coming.
Right.
I will say,
Go ahead.
unnecessary input. I don't like his bass player's tone.
Jimi Hendrix's bass player.
I don't like his bass player's
so
tone.
before we get
He's
to
a talented bass player.
before we
I don't
get
like
too,
his tone.
Before we get too deep on this, we're gonna come back to that topic. Let's go around and let's speak on what instruments we play so people can understand.
Why Chad is so critical of bass players. We stopped.
All right, so pause it. We'll cut that out. Oh, we're not cutting it. Okay. So let's get back into what instruments we play, what we like, and why Chad doesn't like his bass player's tone. So Dewey, what instruments do you play? Do you sing?
I try to do all, but yes. No, I play mostly bass, and then I do sing as well. When I first started playing guitar, wanted to play guitar. That's all I ever wanted to be was a guitar player, but my dad made me learn how to play bass so I could follow the changes and play by ear. And then he said, whenever you learn how to follow on a bass, then you can learn to play guitar. But in the meantime, I was learning to play chords on a guitar too. So then I started playing guitar. And when I got older, I always liked the bass, never had anything against it. I just didn't think the bass player was as cool as a guitar player. Then I realized, well, I'm never going to be that cool anyway, so I'll just play bass. But no, I love playing bass now. It's really my favorite instrument to play. But I can play mandolin, a little bit of piano, but mostly.
So, from a guitar player standpoint, it's easy to play bass, but it's hard to play bass right. That's what
I'm not saying I play it right.
Oh, you can always tell when Chris is on the bass because it sounds like a guitar player playing bass.
it's hard.
Yep.
So, Cody, what instruments do you play? Do you sing? What kind of steak do you have in here?
I don't have a lot of steak. We have farm raised beef, so I guess in that sense I have some steak. But musically, my dad played a lot whenever I was a kid, so I got to be around it a lot, see it a lot, and always, I guess, kind of wanted to, but didn't really think about it till I got old enough to get interested in girls. And then I learned that if you played music, then girls thought that was cool. So
Didn't work for
The
me.
long hair
hey, I'm gonna
doesn't
get
hurt
Dad's
either.
guitar and figure that shit out. And he taught me a few chords and started playing music. And then I had a band. We got out of it, and then I met you. Been running sound ever since.
That's awesome.
That whole girls thing
I'd
only
rather
worked
run
for me
sound,
once.
honestly, though.
I don't know that it
music.
ever worked for me.
Killer sound man. Killer.
Thank
Killer
you.
sound man.
I do enjoy it. It's my favorite thing.
The best out of El Paso.
Best out of El
Fact.
Paso. Mount Vernon, boy.
Facts.
It's the same. Es igual.
No, it's not.
All right, Chad.
Oh,
what
me?
instruments do you play? And actually, before we get to that, Dewey, what bands were you in? What bands are you currently in? Let's give a shout out to some of them.
So now I'm playing with Christopher McNeil and the Silver Bullet Band. We've been playing, I guess, several months, maybe close to a year now.
What kind of music y'all play?
A little bit of everything: country, rock, blues, So we don't really go to heavy metal side, but everything else. I always like to say both kinds, country and western.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My grass is blue.
But so that's what I play with now. I've played with several bands over the years. Nate Turner around here. I played with Greg Ward. Played with him when I first moved to Arkansas. Both Greg Wards.
There's two Greg Wards.
There are two Greg Wards.
There are
yes.
two. One of them's cooler than the other one, and
Well,
one of them
that's
made
not-
it bigger than the
yeah.
other
I
one.
thought which one plays the TCs?
Greg Ward.
Yeah, which Greg Ward?
The one that went to Nashville.
So I call him Greg Ward 1 because he was in my phone first. They're the same age. They got the same middle name. Same
weird.
age.
Wow.
It's really weird.
Yeah,
No
they
relation,
look
though.
completely different. They sing different, but I like them both. Yeah. Yeah, that's yes. The other one has
One of them.
same.
They both.
Yeah, but
No,
so
but he's a nice guy.
they're
he's
both
a nice guy.
They're both nice
They're both
guys.
nice guys.
Yeah.
One
So
of them's
the
just
other one
more-
is Greg Ward 2 in my phone. So just because that's the order that I met him in.
Oh, cool.
But I played with him. I played with him for a few years when I first moved to Arkansas. I played with Nightliners.
Nice.
They're still playing now, but I played with them for quite a while, 3 or 4 years. They're probably the most consistent one that I played with. Then I kind of took a break for a little while, but
Yep.
so
That's understandable. I
Give
mean,
you my perspective, for one, as for
who,
anyone that
who
doesn't.
are you to Dewey Oxley?
Yeah, I was about to say, for anyone that doesn't know yet, Dewey is my dad. And when we moved here, I was about 10, and I've always liked, not always, but for a long time, liked music quite a bit. So I would go to band practices with him.
hey, I'm gonna jump in here. At one point, he said,
And,
"Why do people like music?" He didn't understand why people like music at one point, but now he loves it. So that's good.
Correct. I'll explain why. I didn't.
That's okay. Yeah, it's just throw
No,
it
but
in
you know how
there.
confusing it was to me to hear, hey, you want to go to practice? We're going to Greg Ward's house, and show up, and it's a completely different guy than I'd met prior to that. With the same name. That was weird, man.
Yeah, he's
for
like,
a,
my dad's a liar.
for a 12-year-old. It was weird, man. It was very weird. And then he did the Nightliners thing, and that was cool too.
Cool. So Cody, what bands have you been in? What bands do you want to be in? What bands you currently in? Tell me you got some stuff in the works. 'Cause you're too
Oh, I
good
have
to
one in
not
the
be
works
playing
too,
music.
but I'm not going to talk about that. I'll let you talk about that one.
You're too kind. You're too kind. I'm not in any bands currently. Had a band probably 13, 14 years ago, maybe. And we were called Forbidden Backroads. Did a lot of openings for Red Dirt Dudes on their off days in the middle of the week between Oklahoma and Texas. Whiskey Myers was one of them. Granger Smith was one of them. Cadillac 3 before they were Cadillac Black. The first time we met them, we did a show with Stoney, but we didn't play as much as we were just kind of there loading in and running sound and stuff. I think Jason and Wes actually opened that one. Nothing in the works. Nothing probably gonna happen. I don't know.
You're too good to not be playing.
You got
Cody.
me back into
Fact.
at least acousticing, so
Yep.
that's a thing, I
Yep.
guess.
Yeah, good job, Chris.
But-
Thank you. I try really hard.
Chris is the biggest peer pressure in the music scene around here.
That's good. That's, as long as he's peer
is healthy.
pressuring music and love,
Correct.
and
Adversity
not
makes you better.
drugs.
No
ladies and
drugs.
gentlemen, drugs are bad. Okay.
Okay.
Zane,
Okay.
what bands have you been in? What bands do you want to be in? What instruments do you play? What do you do?
Well, I mean, it started off back probably whenever a good buddy of ours, Trey McCann, I went over to stay at his house one night, and he had a guitar just in his room. And I was like, man, it's pretty cool. You care if I play? Obviously, I didn't know anything about playing. So I tortured him for hours and hours
That's funny.
of just playing horrible music. And I kind of just dropped it. And until a neighbor of mine had some guitars and some friends over, and they were like writing music and playing and stuff. And they play a lot of Metallica, whatever. I've always
Yeah.
been to more of the
Yeah.
heavier music, like Pantera and stuff. And I ended up buying my first guitar from him at 12 and taught myself how to play right then there. He
awesome.
showed me like 3 chords and how to triple pick. That was it.
That's awesome.
And so I mainly play guitar, but at the same time, I was in a band. Ended up learning how to play the French horn, trumpet, stuff like that. So I pretty much play like your brass instruments.
That's cool.
Did a little bit of percussion work, but I can't play a full drum set. It's more like marching band stuff.
Yeah. So you got like the what do they call the quads?
Yeah,
Yeah,
quads
yeah,
or your marching snare and stuff. But I haven't really been with any bands or anything other than playing with Trey McCann and Brianna Williams
Yeah.
and just doing the acoustic stuff. And,
Brianna Lynn.
Yeah, Brianna Lynn. And, of course, getting on stage with you a couple
Yeah,
times and
yeah.
playing here and there, So that's about it. I mean, and honestly, I'm too busy with work all the time nowadays to even think about trying to join a band or do anything like acoustically. So, because I'm gone for a month at a time.
Yeah.
So,
Out on a boat.
yeah.
So Chad, what instruments do you play? Do you sing?
Yes, everyone loves the 69.
What instruments do you play? Do you sing? What bands were you in? What bands you currently in? What bands do you want to be in?
So actually, it's kind of funny. Me and Dad have a very similar story with that. I started off whenever I was a kid. Dad's always been a bass player, and I didn't want to be a bass player because that's what my dad did. That's what my papa did. That's what my cousin did. I wanted to be different, so I started on guitar.
It don't turn out like that, does it?
You have
It
cousins that play guitar very well too.
I do, but I wasn't around them as much.
The old man upstairs kind of have this way of doing shit.
But I wasn't that good at guitar, and I kind of gave up on it. But I still did it a little bit. I played with some guys. At the time, they were known Honky Tonk Avenue. And it was my good buddy Jared. And he decided he didn't want to play bass anymore, and so he basically told me I was playing bass.
Hey, but I do have a video of Chad playing guitar. I'll let y'all look at it later.
Oh, dear God. I bet I know which one it is, too. Fuck.
It's awesome. I was really proud of it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
I did play guitar on stage with Dad once. That was cool. I was like 14 at Taylor's Made, maybe 15.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, it was in a little acoustic gig he
Wish
was
we-
doing with the Nightliners.
Wish we had the video of that.
That's
I'm
cool,
glad
man.
you don't. Those old ladies in the crowd wanted some underage Chad. It was really funny, actually.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh to old ladies or underage Chad?
Both.
Just
Underage
ooh.
Chad was...
Just ooh.
No, but then the bass thing kind of took off in a sense that I enjoyed doing it. I played with some other guys. And then I eventually got linked up with you, actually, Chris, as you
Yes,
very
yes,
well know.
yes.
Chris Baker.
The Chris Baker, the one and only. Actually, not the one and only on Spotify, but
Hey.
the better one.
Hey, guess what? Fuck Chris Baker.
Yeah, and in case you didn't know, yeah, fuck Chris Baker. We love him, but fuck him. Because we love him.
Wait. He said what?
Wait, what'd
But-
you say?
you said
but what? But
We love him, but fuck him.
oh,
I'm just
you put
checking.
too much emphasis on the B.
Yes.
No, I did that on purpose.
Oh,
I thought we put too
I like getting
too
paid.
much emphasis on the F there.
I like getting paid. But yeah, that's
Anyway.
about the extent of it, really. It's just bass.
that's awesome.
Nothing else.
So my name
Oh, yeah.
is
You.
Chris Baker.
Yeah, we didn't tell our names.
My name is Chris Baker,
We're anonymous.
and
Oh,
you're
we
not
said our names
anonymous.
Yeah, he
Oh, okay.
I
he
introduced
us.
everybody.
He
Oh, I
asked us by
forgot.
name.
I forgot.
He even said
So,
your last name. You're fucked.
Yeah.
Wait, shit,
You're
that's
on-
my last name, too.
Y'all are on a watch list somewhere.
I definitely am.
No, my name is Chris Baker. I play guitar. I sing. Make music. That's what I do.
You play bass.
I can play a bass. I'm not a bass player.
I guess
but
throw it in there. I sing every now and then too.
literally, yeah. I mean, I can play a bass. I wanted to be a drummer for the longest time.
Well, I'm glad that didn't pan out because I've
Me
seen you
too.
drum.
I wanted to be a drummer for the longest time.
Oh, you should watch me drum. That's horrible.
I'm bad, too.
Dude, it's hard. My feet and my hands, they don't
They
Yes.
don't
Yep,
cooperate.
yep.
they don't
Yep.
cooperate.
That's what I said. They do for about 2 seconds, and then they're all doing this at the same time.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. Whenever I try to hit the kick and then the snare at different times,
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't include the hi hat. But yeah, that's I am 1/4 of the Chris Baker band. with Chad Oxley, Gary Colley, and Zachary Smith. And Zach is up north right now, touring in North Dakota, South Dakota. They're going to be in Illinois doing stuff with Second Life. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he plays in a lot of bands.
Dude, too many.
Way too many.
That's a lot.
But
Chris,
he loves it.
To answer your question, I guess if I could play any band, I think I'd have to choose your band.
Thank you.
Say, just because why not?
Everybody in here is too good to not be playing music, and that's true. But I mean, the only bands I've actually the only bands I've been a part of is
Your own band?
the Chris Baker Band. I mean, I'm a hired gun. You want to shell
Sounds
out some
pretty-
money? I'll come play
Sounds
for you.
pretty selfish, Chris.
No one else is good enough.
No, yeah, the Chris Baker Band. But we do have a new band in the works called Second Rodeo.
I
And,
heard it's going to be awesome.
It's gonna be pretty cool. They have the best sound guy,
The best sound guy.
Mr. Cody Faison.
And an okay guitar player on rhythm.
I was going to say, they felt sorry for the old guy.
So we're gonna.
Hey,
do
you're actually
nothing-
not the old guy. We got Gary.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. But he seems way younger than me.
Gary does seem younger
He's
than
in
you.
way better shape.
Gary's
We're
just
gonna
the
do,
best.
we're gonna do nothing but Texas country. We're gonna do nothing but red dirt country. So it's gonna be me on lead guitar, vocals, Dewey Oxley on rhythm guitar, vocals, Zach Smith on rhythm guitar, vocals, Chad Oxley on bass and vocals, Gary Colley on drums, Luke Williams on steel guitar, and I need to find a fiddle player. I
I didn't know
is what
Zach
need
was
to do.
playing it, too.
Yep. Yeah,
Say
we're gonna
if-
have a full.
Hey, Zach's Asian. He can figure out the fiddle.
If I wasn't, damn. Say if I wasn't so busy having to go off to work for a month at a time, whether I learned how to play fiddle for you.
Dude, we need a fiddle player. I'm trying to get Bob Wilcox to
bad
do it
way.
because I really like Bob, and we need a harmonica player. We need somebody to play a mean mouth harp.
My tongue don't work that fast.
It's hard,
You
man.
can
It's
play
hard.
a harmonica.
I can blow through it.
You can play it. Hey, that would actually be if we could get him to play harmonica and acoustic.
No, hey, we don't need that many rhythm guitar players. I'll play mandolin some, too.
Actually,
Zach is.
Zach can do mandolin.
Zach's
too.
good.
Zach's probably
Yeah, no,
Zach's
he's way
probably
better.
better
I,
at mandolin.
I believe he's better than me. I'm not that great a mandolin player.
No,
Plus, it'd be
we'll
better
probably
to have one electric guitar
One
instead of two.
acoustic.
One acoustic,
and
and
then
then a mandolin. Yeah.
and then steel, and then fiddle. We need a fiddle player. If anybody that's listening to this wants to play fiddle, if they want to play fiddle for a second rodeo, somebody hit me up.
Say if you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band, okay?
This is true.
We're not in Texas anymore.
we
Toto.
will be. Oh, we will be. I hope you're ready to travel, Dad.
Oh, we're traveling. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We got a show coming up in.
Get us a fucking van.
We actually talked about that at one point.
And then we're gonna put the trailer behind it. We're gonna have like the little fucking roller skate trailer and a church van.
I got
Dude,
an
yeah,
RV.
fuck yeah. Why don't we do that instead of
an
buying a
RV?
brand new one?
Yes, that's awesome.
dude,
yeah.
get an
yes.
RV.
You know how hard it is to.
He does have an RV.
Do you know how hard it is to find a van for sale that'll hold that many people? They're all
really?
work vans and they're all hollowed out.
I mean, you could always get the
Hey,
old
lawn chairs.
Volkswagen
Lawn
bus.
chairs.
Hear me out. On the church van, they got
You know what I'm talking about, Chad? Volkswagen bus.
Yeah, they got 4 fucking long seats though.
Yeah, no, you can't find them,
I
dude.
know they're real popular right now.
And then you can have 2
Very
other
cool.
nights that you just kind of sleep in the van.
Down by the river.
Have you have you tried to find one?
Hey, if you
It's
find a ho-
almost impossible.
If
to
you find a-
one. Yes, unless you're buying it from a church that doesn't want theirs. Churches
Even-
need vans.
Even if you find out if you find a hollowed out van,
Oh, you can find those all day long.
I can make the
We know a
interior.
cabinet guy.
Yeah,
This is true. I mean, we could
Oh,
do a
dude,
school bus,
fuck.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
We see
bus?
them all the time. On the,
yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God.
That is a
Yes.
good idea. So I hadn't even thought about that. I've just been thinking straight Sprinter van style.
That
And
is
if we get
ideal.
it hollowed out,
If you find a hollowed out one, I can.
we
I
could
can,
put 5 bunks in the back or 6 bunks in the back, 2 couches, and then somebody up front to drive.
I can make it. I can make that shit luxury, man.
As long as there's a portable grill or something that you can
I don't think my
attach,
wife would like
whatever,
that.
like a charcoal grill, so you can cook and whatever instead of having to eat out all the time. Save some money that way.
Dude, yeah.
Refrigerator, everything like that.
Let's buy a hollowed out van. Me and you can we can
This is
build
true.
the
We can
interior
build the
out.
interior.
I can upholster. I can do.
I don't know upholstery.
I
That's the
can
only
do
thing.
anything we need.
hey, so
Actually.
when is this second rodeo going to get started?
We're not really sure yet.
Yeah, we're gonna get second rodeo's
Probably
coming right after
immediately
the
after
first rodeo. No, I got some venues around here in Central Arkansas.
I
that
think
we
we're
can-
shooting for like Q1 of next year,
Yes, yeah.
late winter, early
First
spring.
first quarter next year. Get a set list lined out. Get practices. Practices. Nobody
Yes.
wants to hear it. Practices.
I'm having a stroke.
We can only. Do,
Are you telling me something? Or are you
no,
No, not you, not you.
no.
Not you. You're not
I
playing.
know. I'm selling this to Dewey and Chad right here. They
And
don't
Gary.
practice. Gary's fine with it.
Oh, I
I'll
like
practice.
to practice. I don't mind. It's just hard to make time.
get that comfortable, and then once you hit the stage, you don't think about it twice.
I don't either. I don't think about it twice anyway.
Well, I always think about it 48 times, and that's my biggest problem probably. But
I never think while I'm on stage, dude.
oh, it drives me fucking.
Can't. It's gotta be just like.
There's no think, just do.
Yeah, no think. Just do. No try.
Even if you still mess up, you still got to go.
No try.
So, we done went around everybody. We know what we're doing. Kinda. People. Yeah, Zane, you said you had a controversial topic.
Say, I was gonna ask, like, coming from a bass player point or whatever, like, what's your favorite brands of basses, and what's your favorite sort of pickups to run in them? Because I've never thought about that until I saw like the active pickups and stuff. So I figured I'd ask about that topic.
Probably want to ask Chad on that. He knows way more about the technical parts of it.
You like Bartonelli's? Bartolini's?
I do like Bartolini's.
I buy a bass and the pickups on there. I'm like, oh, it sounds all right.
I mean, yeah.
All
And
bass
tone
sounds
wise,
the
tone
same.
wise, because I remember Chad said something about the Jimi Hendrix
Yeah.
bass player tone that he didn't like about it. So I want
So
to know why.
I'm very bland when it comes to bass in the sense that I like a Fender precision bass. I don't own anything else. I don't desire to own much of anything else. I wouldn't mind a Stingray, but at the end of the day, so long as it is a humbucking pickup, I generally just leave the stock pickup in there. But I do love on the P bass, it's got that split coil humbucking, and it just gives it a fatter sound that you don't get out of a
What bass has single coil pickups?
jazz bass.
They're not
Ja-
split.
Jazz basses it's two single coils. When you run them both together, it naturally cancels out hum. But if you run one of them individually, it's a single coil.
Okay,
you
so
will
that's what I
have
was
hum
wondering. I
introduced.
was like, two single coils is a humbucker.
Correct. But some people that run jazzes will only run the bridge pickup,
So
which
does
sounds
a
like
jazz
shit.
have a split coil in the neck?
No, they're both single coils. They're two single coil pickups, but the way they're wired, they cancel out hum if you have them both turned on at full volume.
Okay, so if you were gonna run a jazz pickup, you'd run them both at full volume.
If I was playing a jazz bass, yeah. Well, actually, fun fact: if you run them both at 70% volume, I don't know why it works this way, but if you run them both at 70% volume, it sounds better than both at full volume. I don't know why, but it does. If
So-
they're wired
Okay,
the way that they're wired
why
now.
don't you like his bass player's tone?
It's got a lot of times he has too much distortion.
Because you're disrespecting a lot of people when you say that.
Oh yeah.
About to say,
Just know.
the whole point of a lot of distortion, whatever, is get that fuzzy, warm tone
don't
to
like-
it to make you.
I don't like distortion on
Feel
the bass.
warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, feel warm
So
and
you-
fuzzy.
you don't
while
like
you're
distortion
feeling
on a
warm
bass?
and fuzzy, you know.
Well, especially not on a blues.
You run a dark glass, right?
Every now and again, but if you ever listen to my tone whenever I use it, it's not very distorted. And I only do that for very heavy songs.
Okay.
So what's
on
your
blues, I don't like distortion
what's
on
your
a bass.
perfect gain level then?
I don't know percentages. I very
Like, is it
rarely use
1 through 10? What is it?
1 through 10, like gain on a distortion pedal.
Or just in general? Because I know you probably adjust your gain stuff with the bass. I don't know. I don't play bass.
Not hardly. If I run a
So it's like maybe a 1 or a 2.
distortion pedal, I would say that it's probably about 3 on the gain, maybe 4. But bass pedals have a wet and dry knob on everything.
Yeah.
Because a distortion pedal cuts out the bass, which you don't want on a bass. And so I run the wet dry about 70% in favor of the dry signal, so that 3 or 4 on the gain that I run on the distortion is not really as noticeable. It just adds warmth more than anything.
So
Right. But if I dig in, kind of like a tube amp, like what you run. If I dig in, it will break up. I could run my distortion pedal all night and no one would notice it because it's so low. But if I dig in, correct. Correct. It's more of an overdrive than a distortion the way that I use it.
So coming from a guitarist standpoint, would you say that having it that way gives it more bass to it or more high end?
Oh,
Or is it kind of like the perfect blend between high, mid, and low?
the way that I EQ it, it's a lot more bass. I cut out a lot of my treble anyways because that's the sound I go for. I go for a vintage flat wound.
I thought he was gonna say because he's all about that bass.
And I mean,
No
yeah,
treble.
that would have been knee slapper. Yeah.
So-
No, that is very true though. On my amp, it's got a vintage pre-set up EQ, and I click it all the time. That bumps up your low end, bumps up your mids, and cuts your treble. And I do that on all of my EQs too.
So we have Chad's input on this. Why don't we get Dewey's input on like how he likes to run his setup
And
have
what
his
basses you
equalizers and
like.
Stuff. Yeah.
I play right now. I have an Ibanez 5-string, and I really don't. I don't never mess with pedals at all. Huh?
No, it's
SGR.
SGR. It's the
a
better.
SGR.
The sound-
it's a
like
nice
upper
Sound
model.
gear.
Sound gear.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a nice
Yeah.
bass.
I like it.
Not my cup of tea, but it's
Right.
nice.
It's because it's got too many strings.
No, I don't like the Ibanez headstock.
Chad, you don't like tea.
Huh?
You don't like tea, do you?
Tea?
Yeah, you like sweet tea?
I'd prefer unsweet flavored tea.
Nasty.
Flavor, yes.
Nasty. You can't say it's not your cup of tea because you don't like tea.
That's fair. It's not my cup of coffee then.
Yeah,
like
so I
coffee?
don't know much about the
Love
tone and all that stuff of it. I just turn it to the volume I like and get it to the sound I like. I'm like, all right, there it is. Who knows what I'm really doing with it?
Dad's tone is very similar, since apparently he doesn't know. His tone is
Thank you, son.
His tone is very similar to Big Shane's.
Okay, so you
In
like
a
more
sense-
of the funk.
It's more of a funk tone. It's got plenty of highs.
So more or
I'd
less
say if he
like
does
set up
anything,
for
he-
kind of sort of like slap bass in a way.
He does. If
not
he's
good at it. I
If
can't
he
slap
actually
at a
slapped
bass.
bass, then he would have a great slap bass tone.
Yeah,
Think,
you would get that Victor Wooten style.
think more
Victor
Marcus
Wooten style tone.
Miller, maybe Victor Wooten, but he's got like a Marcus Miller tone going
Okay.
on.
They make me sound way cooler than I really am.
No, it's a good
And
tone.
like,
Yeah.
And he's running an active bass with dual humbuckers. It's nice.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
like the
so
way it looks personally.
when you're coming from a guitar player's perspective, back to the wet dry knobs, Dewey. Guitar players don't have a wet and dry rig unless you're running stereo.
Yeah.
I don't.
A gain and
You have
level.
a-
That's about it.
Yeah, neither of those are really
still a little
wet and
different.
dry. It's a little bit different.
Very
So,
different.
how do you run? Do you run any pedals?
No,
What
I-
kind of pedals do you like?
I don't use pedals.
Purist, I love it. Yeah, take
Well,
that,
it's
Chad.
If I-
hey, it's too much to think about. It's
if I
hard
had
to
a
do.
if I had a tube amp, I wouldn't have pedals at all. I would just have my wireless sitting on the.
From my perspective, I do think all bass sounds the same. I mean, bass
You're
is
wrong.
bass. I'm allowed to be wrong. To me,
You are.
To me, in the mix,
yeah.
in a sub, you're pushing 18s, you're pushing air through a speaker. Bass is bass. It can sound a little more trebly, but I can't pick out the differences in different pedals besides like distortion, stuff like that.
If you listen to someone with an envelope filter, you will.
No, because that's just pretty much a wall. That's an auto wall.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Full stop. But if you go to a local venue and you listen to Big Shane play his bass or Dad, and then compare that to me, it will sound completely different.
But is that from the way that it's played, or is that strictly from the amp tone?
It's from the tone.
So that's the
Now
difference
it might be a little bit of how they play, but it's a lot of it is the tone, the way it's EQ'd more than anything,
So that's the difference in the Mark bass
and the pedals.
The Mark bass, Victor Wooten, literally.
So
I agree. Mark bass is killer, but Chad's a big looks guy.
I am. I like
He's
a
huge
classic
on
Fender look,
looks.
so
but Mark bass does sound great. Oh no, those don't look good at all, man. No. Aguilar. Those do look
Aguilar's
slick.
a killer.
Yes.
I
But
agree.
I don't like the solid state sound. If I'm buying that expensive of an amp, I'm gonna get a tube.
I know we had started on this topic, whatever is bass for bass players and stuff. But Chad, you didn't say like your favorite brand of bass to play or anything like that.
Yeah.
I thought I did. I'm sorry. Fender.
He did,
Fender all day.
Fender.
I don't own anything other than Fender. I'll probably buy a Stingray at some point, but that's Music Man, which is Leo Fender's design, anyways. But no. No, I think G&L was after Music Man, or G&L. Is that not after Music Man?
Well, it was kind of G&L
Really?
was technically before
Okay.
Fender.
I didn't know.
And then
Yeah.
Before Fender.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Same guys, yeah.
yeah. So and then Fender came along, and then it
did
was
not know that.
post CBS, and they're like,
Right.
we don't want this anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
That's when he started G&L.
Pre CBS is so much better.
Oh yeah, way better.
So much.
All right.
So yeah, somebody
Yeah,
Google that
someone-
real quick.
Jamie?
I will say, give it a goog, J-Mo.
Why you guys doing that? I'm gonna take a
I
break.
I do think that Fender. Okay. All right, Fender. It's the best brand. If we're talking overalls between amps,
Amps, basses,
pedals,
guitars.
basses,
Oh, yeah.
guitars, Fender. Okay, PRS is a very close second with the Archons.
Headstock.
Fender.
Hate Gibson because I love it.
No, the offset headstock, it breaks way too much. Fender,
It's a poor design.
poor design. They don't want to spend money.
It's a poor design.
It is a poor design, but it works as far as tone goes until you fuck it up.
Ah, but that's
Take care of it like a violin.
Oh
the
no,
neck
no, no,
doesn't-
no! I don't want to take care of my guitar like a violin, Cody. I want to be able to throw mine on concrete, dude.
I have seen Chris do that before,
I
actually.
have walked my Strat.
Let me roll up that fucking maple in the front yard, and then we're gonna do a Gibson Les Paul, okay?
All day long, the Fender
The
style.
headstock all the way through is 5 pieces of maple, and then we're gonna
5 pieces.
Yeah, it's gonna be glued up this way, 5 stack, and then it's gonna be a headstock neck body neck through, and then we're gonna put wings on it for the body.
Oh. They don't do a 5-piece neck, do they?
9-piece necks.
Yeah, they do 9
And they still break.
They don't make it out of
And they
solid.
still
They
break.
can make it out solid.
If you're doing a neck through, usually it's
Oh,
glued up
okay.
this way,
Yeah, that makes
the
sense.
headstock, the neck, everything. Huh?
Trash.
Trash?
Gibson
Gibson is.
is trash.
Here's another thing.
No. Okay, so post 2015 Gibson is garbage. If we're talking about
They're making some of the best guitars I've ever made.
no, you're taking like a 92 to 93 Les Paul custom. It's perfect. There's everything perfect about that guitar.
But today, they are making better guitars than they did 5 years ago.
Oh, way better than 5. Yes,
Yeah, not even
yes.
remotely close because
'Cause people complain.
got involved, it became a thing. It became a thing with like a dude who was a collector and like a dude who wanted those old fucking sunbursts and wanted those collector guitars. And whenever he took over, they started literally recreating all of that.
But back on the topic, I think Fender. So Fender is the best, just based off of
See,
in a whole.
that was the question I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you what your preferred brand of guitar was, and which was your favorite, and what you would prefer to play, but also your favorite sort of amp and why, and if it's like to do with any sort of pickups, any sort of like tube amps or anything else like that.
See, that's why I like you, because you ask me questions. Somebody else asked me questions. No,
Pick the brain a little bit.
pretty much, I like it. A Fender Stratocaster is the most versatile and best guitar ever made, in my opinion. A Fender Stratocaster is amazing.
Is that for the blues capabilities on it,
All of
or
it.
what,
All
or
of
just
it.
You can play
everything?
anything.
All of it.
I've seen heavy metal bands that play
Oh
a
yeah.
Strat.
I mean that's why they came out with the
stock
super
pickups.
strats. You know.
I mean,
TC3, Jaron plays a telly.
yeah, humbuckers,
Alright. But
Buddhas are killer. Buddhas are awesome.
you said a Fender Stratocaster, right? Is that because of the single cool pickups in it, or would you rather prefer a humbucker, or what do you not like between the two differences in it?
So I really like a single coil in the neck for Steve Ray Vaughan,
Yeah.
overdriven stuff. And then if you want to get into like the Rage Against the Machine, I want a humbucker in the bridge.
Right.
That's what I like.
What's your ideal DC resistance on a humbucker or anything like that?
Probably 1.8K.
1.8K.
I like 1.8. So I like 1.8. Mine are a little hotter. Mine's like 2.4 is what they're setting at. So-
Well. My check, that custom pickup I have in my guitar is 16.8K.
Good God.
It's so fucking hot.
That is wild.
Shit.
And what you put it in originally that Ibanez,
Yeah.
and then we put it in the.
Yeah, I originally had put it in my Ibanez. I put it in my Schecter Sinister Custom guitar there.
That's wild.
It's a hell of a lot different.
And it's like
Yeah.
the neck pickup's dead, and the bridge is just like. In your
No. So mine, I mean, I guess for single coil, mine are
Yeah,
kinda
yours
hot.
is single coil though, because you're playing the Fender.
Yeah,
Stratocaster.
so I have my pickups, I got
I
to
was
shout
about to
them
say,
out
you got to shout them out.
because we are technically sponsored by them. I got to shout out D. Allen pickups. They are amazing.
They
Some
do
of the best,
sound killer.
some of the best pickups I've ever had.
Hand wound.
And they're, yes.
No, not that Telly.
The
Yeah, the red Tilly and the red
Telly.
Strat. Yeah,
What red Telly?
the one that was over here.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I didn't know that he bought that from you.
Yeah. So
My bad.
they
you were
do.
talking about the one Dad
they
brought.
do a lot of stuff for Brad Paisley. God, they do like Brad Paisley, Joe Perry, a lot of different people. And I'm missing a whole catalog full of people, but D. Allen has a lot. My favorite amp. If I have to choose an amp forever, and we're not talking about sound guys and venues and stage volume and all of this stuff, I really like either a PV Classic 30 or a Fender Super Reverb.
Say that PV Classic 30 has a lot of thump to it
I love it.
for
Love everything about it.
what it is. It's a 100-watt amp, ain't it?
Huh?
100 watts, right?
No, 30. It's
30.
32 watts.
That's 32 watts.
It's
two
an
watts,
AC
yeah.
I'm
30
trying to think.
made here.
It's been, I don't know, I can't recall whenever that's when they started going to lower wattage or not, whenever they started making that or whatever, if they decided to go with lower wattage instead of having like their 100-watt amps and stuff back in the day. But yeah, that PV30 is pretty kick-ass.
I mean, tube watts are completely different than solid state
Yeah.
watts. So solid state, you can get a 100 watt amp and keep it on like 1.5, 2, and it's
Yeah.
going to sound the same as it does on 10.
Right.
Mine, it's got to be 9, 10, 11. It's got to really get up in there. But that's why Chad Oxley built a ISO box for me.
Right.
Run the thing on stage, perfect.
Yeah. And this is a topic for anyone that wants to put their input in on. We talked about trans tube. We talked about your tube amps. You also have your trans tube, and you have your just straight amps as well. How do we feel about digital effects and stuff?
heard Chris play straight ass digital, and it was just as good. So
Yeah, I
Like,
have. There's.
You don't feel like there's any sort of different sound to like
all night last night.
This is true.
say like
So-
compared to digital and like having your trans tube or tube amps or straight amps, like your digital is just as good as running a regular amp.
Digital is just as. So if you take a tone from an amp, a tone for an amp,
digital
and a
or
tone
regular
from a digital,
trying to pick mine.
whatever you have, head rush, line 6. You take them, you mic both of them, you get a noise from both of them, you give them to somebody in a random audience with headphones, they're not going to be able to tell the difference based off of the sound.
Exactly.
It's all hands and fingers. It's moving air through a speaker. It's the feeling that you get when you play one on stage is what most people look for. And that's what I like. I feel like it makes me play better. It probably doesn't.
It does. No, it does.
It does.
when
Back to the Super Reverb. I think that's why the Super Reverb even better than the 30 because it's got those fucking 410s.
I love a 410 configuration, dude. I love it.
I mean, I can tell you right now,
That one can get woofy in a hurry.
the
You know what I mean?
when you ran digital, and even when you had the custom with the 15
Yeah.
versus now with the tube amp in the ISO box built by me, actually, shameless plug.
He already did that before you came back.
Oh, did you? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it did.
Yeah, no, I did.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I didn't even.
The ISO box
You're
is
too
built by
busy
Chad
even about
Oxley.
Yeah, no. When you had it cranked on 11 at Camp Taco,
Yes.
I could feel a difference in your playing because you were You were letting loose so much more.
I
because
feel like you had more
felt it.
confidence with the loud sound, even though I wasn't there because
Oh, and it
kids
was
and stuff.
It wasn't even
Um,
loud on stage. It's
Well,
just
I'm
the
saying, like,
breakup.
he had the feeling that he could crank it all the way up and just let loose, and that allowed him to change his play style and actually
Yeah.
set
All day.
free.
I'm
and
not-
you could tell a difference in the crowd and on stage and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not worried about a sound guy getting upset at me for being too loud on stage with
Yeah,
an
fuck
ISO
sound
box.
guys.
I mean, sound guys can easily just turn it down, or adjust shit. That's it.
Cody, we have a love-hate relationship sometimes when it comes to amps. Never hate.
Tell me your
All
lead guitar
love,
player
peace,
without
love
telling
around
me.
here. Peace and love around here.
No, I love sound guys because without sound guys, bands
Would sound like
they
shit.
would they could really make or break a venue. So I'm always nice to sound guys, but it's not the tone or it's not the volume that I'm chasing. It's the tone. So whenever you can feel it on stage and it rattles the floor and there's something magical.
So this is another thing we talked about on basses and stuff. It's how they would have their pedals or whatever set up or amps set up. Chris, what's your ideal tone setup on your amp before you get into any of the pedals and stuff?
Okay, depending on the amp. So super reverb, I don't touch any of the
Main
what is it,
EQ built
vi-
in.
Well, I do for the main channel 1. Channel 2, the vibrato, tremolo, weird little thing they got going on, the speed and intensity, nothing. I don't touch that at all. I usually keep treble around 7, bass and mids around 5. I keep it fairly even. The classic 30, I do the same thing. I use little to no reverb. I don't want to mask. I don't want to mask anything. But yeah, I mean, that's
I got
literally
one more question for you on this topic before you were gonna throw, just in case you want to throw it back to me. But we want to get Dewey in on certain stuff.
yeah.
But one thing I want to ask you about having both of those two different amps, depending on the two different amps, whether it's a Fender Super Reverb or whatever it is. Sorry,
Yeah, Fender Super Reverb.
Fender Super Reverb, and then a PV30 Classic. What would you have your gain volume set at for both of those?
There is no gain volume on a Classic 30.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't know
I'll
that.
run the
My
volume.
bad. I'm sorry.
Well, it depends on the pre and post and all that. I don't use
pre and
post.
post stuff. That's usually like your gain, as they
Yeah,
call
I
it.
use-
Quote unquote gain.
Yeah, I don't. Dude, I hardly ever use a second channel. I run.
If you'll put that fucking pedal out there, that boss, and run that dual cable to it, you can turn it on and off when you want.
That is true. I run. With the ISO box, I run my volume. It goes to 12.
I'm trying to pick brains and stuff.
So,
But
yeah.
for your Fender Super
ISO
Reverb,
box, I run it on
Yeah.
12 for the Classic. Fender, I think around 9.
9 on your gain.
Around 9 on the
So
volume.
pretty
for a
heavy
s-
on the gain. So pretty much like almost like a I wouldn't say necessarily heavy metal, but like hard southern rock in a way.
Yeah, but Fender takes a lot for it to break up. So if volume's not an issue, I'm gonna run mine almost wide open.
Yeah, I know. And I'll get to Chad in a second to ask Dewey a question here or whatever. But I know, like on like say a Boss Katana, like I do.
Yeah.
Whether I'm playing metal or whatever, I'm going to run the gain on that at about 7, 6-ish. It ain't got numbers on it, so you can kind of guess at it.
Yeah.
And then for my amp settings, it's going to be on the low end about 8. On your mids, you're going to run it about 4 or 5, and then on your trebles about 7 or 8 too. So it's
Yeah.
even on the treble and the lows, but the mids are scooped out.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to play a lot of metal stuff and like hard rock stuff, so naturally your mids are going to be scooped out, give it that kind of tone to it.
Yeah.
Um,
So, Dewey, what do you keep your amp settings on? So what kind of amp do you use?
Well, I have depends on what show. Like we play a lot of smaller deals. So when I do,
Yeah.
I have a Fender Bronco 40, which is a pretty good. I like the amp. It's easy to carry. I can put it in front seat of my
Is it a Fender Bronco?
Yeah, a Bronco 40.
Bronco,
Yeah.
not a Rumble.
No, it's a Bronco 40.
Or is it a Mustang?
No,
It's a
it's
No,
Bronco?
Mustang's a
Wow.
guitar.
yeah, so
I guess I've
so
never seen a
Bronco
Bronco.
is for
Mustang's a
bass, and
Ford.
Mustang is for
Yeah,
guitars.
they make a
cool.
a Fender Bronco bass. I didn't know they made an amp.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
I
an
do drive
old-
a Bronco. Yeah, no, it's a Bronco
Hey,
40.
grab
It's a
me one.
40 amp.
They don't make 'em
40
anymore.
amp.
40-watt amp.
40-watt amp. Yeah.
Is it tube or solid state?
It's solid state, but it's got like a bunch of different settings. You can do like like a rock bass. It's got a 59 jazz master whatever bass amp, so it like replicates that sound from.
So it's the
From
same.
those
So
different-
I had a Mustang 3. So it's the same thing as a Mustang just for bass. That's super cool. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
and I like that. That one's it's a pretty versatile amp. It's easy to use. I
Yeah.
don't have to have pedals. I can just set. I got all the different presets or whatever. Yeah, and it has a tuner built into it as well, but it's kind of inconvenient when it's behind you. But like
Bass
for
players
smaller
don't
places,
tune.
like
Bullshit.
sometimes.
All right.
Rumble 30s from Fender, the little is tilt backs. That's what my dad keeps in the house. It kills. It really good.
Yeah, so that one's good for like smaller play, like JJ's and Conway's real small, so you don't
Yeah.
have much space, and you don't need a whole lot through the amp anyway. But I do have
Bullshit. I run 210s, wide open,
I have
500
a-
watts.
So, Chad,
I
what's
have
what's
another-
your preferred bass amp?
Preferred?
Yeah.
I won't have one for a while, but I definitely want a Fender. Oh shit! What is?
Super bassman.
Yeah, basement. God, I don't know why I just.
You want the
Yeah,
ox
no.
blood on it?
Oh
huh?
god!
Yeah.
If I had my dream, it'd be a tweed bass amp, probably
Yep.
6x10, laid on its side with the super bassman with the ox blood front.
I'd run it from
and
my
the tweed.
guitar.
So,
Of course you would.
That's the cool thing
But
about bass.
right
amps.
now, I just have a Rumble 610s. Oh, it'd be beautiful.
We never got to your settings on your bass. So where do you run your?
Yep.
I had a stroke.
Yeah,
Where
it
do you
happens.
run your settings?
Like I said, I run my volume probably around maybe 2/3, somewhere around there, 6, 7. I don't really turn it up too high just because I don't want to overpower everybody.
Bass gets lost very easily.
Yeah.
So with,
So you tell me to turn it up?
dude, I'm already telling you.
Yeah. I've never had a
I mean,
sound guy
bass,
turn my amp
to
up.
me, if you're listening out
until last night.
front, if it's not through a sub, bass gets lost easily.
Yeah.
So from my standpoint on stage, if I don't feel a bass amp rumbling underneath me, I feel like something's wrong. I can run digital all day long, but I want my bass player
Yeah.
to run a.
you want your
tube.
bass player to be there and fucking kicking
Yeah,
and making you feel it in your
yes.
chest as you're out there in the
Right.
crowd.
And so you can
Me
feel if the note is wrong, also, which is a
Exactly.
weird thing.
You can feel it all
You
day
can
long.
feel
if
it,
you're
not
off key.
necessarily here because it's all going out front, but you can feel it because it's a different sound
Well,
wave whenever
yep.
it hits.
You can
Yep.
feel the. Like if you're playing a C and I play a C sharp, you can feel the dissonance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and-
You can
or
feel it.
you can hear. A lot of people won't understand this, but think about like if you go to like the dentist, whatever, get put on a laughing gas, you kind of have that wavy sound in your ears.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Whenever
exactly.
you
Wait,
hit,
do you go there to get put on laughing gas, or they put
Yeah.
you on laughing gas to get some teeth work done?
You got to pay. You got to pay extra to just to get the
But-
laughing gas.
But you know how you have kind of sort of like, or like you get, say maybe it's your first time smoking weed or something, like getting high for the first time. Sorry.
No, we don't know anything about that.
No, nothing.
You get like kind of wavy effect in your sound. Like whenever you hit a wrong note and it's a little bit off, instead of it just blending perfectly together, you get a like kind of wavy sound throughout your sound waves there. And you can hear it. It's like wah wah wah.
It's
you know?
harmonic dissonance. Just yeah.
And I can tell whenever, like, if Chad's playing with me, and it's weird. So whenever he drops out, it's like a whole half of the band is gone,
Oh, it feels like everybody drops out.
and I'm like, oh, what happened?
I
If
know
s-
that- I know
if
that
I
feeling.
slip and my fingers
I know
just
that feeling.
accidentally right over the fret, I die. a
And I
little bit
look
inside
right at
every
Chad,
time.
and I
he
feel
looks at
bad.
me every time, and I'm
Because I'm
like,
like,
fuck, I'm
where
fired.
are you at?
I'm
And
fired.
Chris, I'm gonna agree on you with that because last time I was at home, it was for
Yeah.
the memorial for your dad Dewey
Yep.
and your grandpa Chad, and I was up there playing on stage with them. And like I say, me and Chad didn't really know what the song was. Like he would look at me
That
and I
happened
would
a
like
lot.
look at him. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And he would like drop out, and you could tell the difference in it.
Oh, yeah.
because of how he has his bass set up and how much more forward he is than most bass players are. And it's a hell of
It's
a
loud.
difference.
It's
I'll
loud.
tell you that.
like
I mean,
it.
I ran whenever I got my pedal board built. That I also built. Another shameless plug.
Yeah, give a shout out to Oxley pedal boards. I mean, really, if y'all need a
Yeah.
pedal board done, he built mine. He built his. He is in the works of building a few more.
I've
He
got
can do any.
a couple guys that I can't really mention out of Nashville that are
Yeah.
touring acts.
So anytime, I mean, he can do anything. Tweed, any toe legs that you want on it. He can do double stacks. He can do lights.
Full custom wiring, whatever you want.
Literally anything.
But I-
And it's better work than most of the big box brands that you're going to get.
Way better.
It's a lot neater in a way,
Yes.
and a lot more tidy and well kept than.
I don't know if it's well kept after I've used it for 9 months. It's definitely dusty,
I
but
mean, well,
out of the
well,
box,
not necessarily
yes.
well kept. I mean, well kept is in like making sure
Yes.
it's not all a tangled mess.
Yes.
Oh,
in
God,
a way,
yes.
like it's tidy, clean work, and no matter what, you're gonna know what goes to what.
Exactly. But whenever I first built it, I was like, oh, shoot. I don't need to bring an amp to every venue because I had a 4x10. I had a stack. I had an Ampeg head on top at times. And
You get an Avatar cabinet, right?
an Avatar cabinet,
Those things
Avatar
are killer,
4x10.
dude.
It
Those things are
sounds
killer.
great. I still got the
Avatar's
cabinet.
Oh, you
But it was-
Retolex it.
Yep, I do need to Retolex it actually. But it was heavy and multiple trips, and I was like, "Fuck! Why would I do all that when I could just
The
bring this?"
MPEG head. That's the same one that I have, right?
It's lighter than yours, but
yeah, I've got a 410 PV cab, and the head is weighs like 20 pounds more than the cabinet does. It seems like it's heavy.
see, his Ampeg head's cooler than mine, though.
Use his sometime. I want to hear it.
I
Say
need
it.
to actually.
Yeah.
Well,
use it.
it kind of burned me once. I borrowed it, and
Well, so I bought this from a buddy of mine. He goes, "It works great. I played with it all the time." He didn't, but somebody else.
I was
dad
afraid
did.
I was gonna blow it because I wired the.
Yeah.
I connected it to the cabinet wrong, and it wasn't getting enough volume. And I was like, "Dude, I've got this thing maxed out."
Different
I'm-
ohms.
Sort of. It's
There's 2 channels on it. I don't know much about how to. I tried to get Big Shane even to help me with it, and he's like, "Man, I don't know. It's pretty old. It's probably from '80s.
It's
maybe."
80s or 90s, and
I
so
think
the,
it's older than
the
that.
technology's just in a weird
Yeah.
in between stage where it's not just
It's
a
going
straight
pretty
up
much
quarter
from
inch.
like analog to like the.
Yeah,
You've
all
got to
other
run
shit.
banana connectors
Completely.
in there. It's weird.
Yeah, we had it hooked up.
Instead
and
of
I
wiring
think
it
there-
straight up together,
Yeah,
it's
there's
like
2
starting
channels
to get the
on
connectors
it. So
and stuff.
I think one of the channels is actually doesn't work on the. I
just
believe
kind of-
If you
kinda
want,
burn
if
out.
you want the
That's-
full 400
that's kinda
watts,
like-
you got to cross it.
That's kind of
Right.
like in between, like whenever they started putting like your freaking
Speak on.
not necessarily speak on, but like your electronics boards and stuff before they started soldering stuff to it, or
Yeah.
whatever, and going into the like your tube amps or whatever, where they started using that to heat it up and have your shit. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
it's definitely it's
I don't
different.
know exactly how to explain it because I wasn't alive at the time, and I'm like
I don't
just
actually know. Is it
spitting
a
shit out
tube
my
amp
ass
or is
right
it
now.
solid state?
No, it's a solid state amp.
Yeah,
solid state
I don't
amp?
want it anyway.
But
Okay.
but it's I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's
So it's pretty
Well-
much all wiring.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
is what
still-
it is.
it's
So
still an
all
Ampeg, though.
about getting that
Yeah,
wiring
it is,
straight
yeah.
in.
It
I
is.
like it overall, but it is difficult. I've wanted to upgrade and get a newer, much lighter head. A lot
Those
smaller
don't
head.
look as cool
Oh.
though.
I know that's. I'm just gonna make a false front on it and put the
See,
the
but,
new one in
like-
the back.
I will say, as much as I hate on solid state for the sound, my pedal board does make up for that because I have an Ampeg DI, and it gives the tube warmth that you want. Because so for you as
Do you
a
have
guitar player,
Tubes in your pedal board?
no, they're not actually tubes; they're simulators. They get so. It's not a simulator; is not the best way, but it simulates the sound.
So it's like when I was running my.
It's a preamp pedal.
Whenever I was running my pedal board with
Right.
just a standard cabinet.
But that's what I was going to get to is the difference between me and you. You're a guitar player. You're doing a lot more. When you don't have actual tubes, you hear a difference.
Yes.
On
Yes,
bass,
very.
I'm not saying that you don't hear a difference, but I'm not going for breakup. And whenever I hit this certain note, it breaks up more than another. I want it to be consistent.
Yeah, you don't want one to just scream.
So technically
But
speaking, the preamp pedal might be better for my application, but at the very least, it's equal
yeah.
So,
because it gives the warmth
all
I
right,
want.
so we have 2 bass players, 2 guitar players here. So, as from a guitarist player standpoint, what do you think really makes a bass become really muddy in the mix, or anything else like that?
Well, really and truly, a lot of it's based on your room. So, like last night, dear God, it felt muddy on stage because we were jammed back in a corner.
You got to think about how it carries.
But
Yeah.
it might be muddy on stage and it won't be out front. So a lot of times I'll actually, counterintuitive as it may be, I cut out the bass on the EQ of my amp because that's what generally makes it muddy is people crank the bass knob up and that it doesn't sound as good. It's not as clear and clean as having your mids boosted.
So what do you think about Dewey? How do you keep it from getting muddy?
I think
I
Dad keeps
don't
his
know.
flat.
You keep yours like straight flat.
Yeah, I don't really think about it too much like that. I just I just listen to it and
That's fine too. I mean, if you have a sound engineer that really cares and
yeah, then
understands
you don't have
about
to worry
every
about
part, yeah, like and
well, because like he said how it sounded up on stage, but out in the crowd it sounded perfect.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
So
And I figured it did.
What do you think makes yours muddy?
huh?
What do you think makes yours muddy?
What makes mine muddy?
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of things.
I know too much gain or distortion can make it very, very muddy and come up like where you can't really tell what's getting played.
Yeah, so that's why I run a flat, almost flat EQ. I put a little bit more highs on my amp right now, but I can keep. Man,
Thank you, Chad.
when it comes to the pedal board side of it, I'm running a digital modeler pedal board with all the amps and amp sims and
So what
cab
sort
sims
of-
turned off.
What sort of pedal board do you run?
Man, I run a Headrush MX5. It does everything that I need to do. But to keep it from getting muddy in the front of the mix, the mic does a huge job picking up. We got one of the Sennheiser pancakes that we use. It does a really good job. But I really just mess with my tone, gain, and the volume on the overdrive pedals because I have two that never turn off, and I have one that's a full boost. It's a clean boost. So if it sounds good to me on stage, hopefully it's going to translate to out front. And that's where
it always does.
Cody Faison comes into play here. He does a good job making sure everything sounds good out front. And I want to give a huge shout out to some of the sound guys that we can think of, doing a great job.
Oh, dear God, yeah.
Justin
Velty.
Velty,
I mean, fuck.
Blake Smith, anybody with Crown Entertainment, Bright Light, Sight, and Sound.
Philip.
Ben Comer, I think he's done some work with Crown. He's really good too. Also a good drummer.
I really enjoy Chris Avakian also.
Oh,
I like
that
him.
guy's crazy,
He's
but I like him
wild,
too. Yeah. So
but
his sister
No
and
comment.
Stephanie are really really good friends, like best friends. So I like Chris.
Different, but he's gonna make sure you sound good. He's
Yes.
gonna let you know what he wants from you. That's what I'm getting. He's gonna let you know.
I'll give him enough credit to say that you don't get the job at the Rev Room running sound without being good. He is good.
And Maestro, if you catch him in a good mood, even in a bad mood, he's still one of the best. One of the best sound guys around. I mean, he does a very good job.
Well, I don't know if you touched up on the sound guy from Midtown. What do you feel about him?
Which Midtown?
That's Chris.
That's
yeah,
Chris?
Midtown Little Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Avakian. So
Zach,
Zach has
lately,
been
yeah, I was gonna
running
say,
sound.
Lately, we run our own sound there.
Say I don't really know anyone like sound guy wise or whatever. So I figured I'd just ask about the Midtown guy because I didn't know that's who you guys are talking about. But it's good to know.
I mean, there's a lot of great sound guys.
But Mr. Cody Faison's up
Cody
there.
Faison's
yeah, he's
awesome.
pretty good. We
Mr.
like him.
Cody Faison.
I like Cody Faison. So with the equipment that Cody Faison runs, he does way more than what's expected to run with that equipment.
Oh, dear
Right,
God, yeah.
right.
He gets East End the other day, that sound should not have come out of that system. That was awesome. Yeah,
Yep.
that was
It
awesome.
was amazing.
That was probably the best sound that I've heard myself play through. You had room enough that we could have our amps cranked in it.
And if there's a sound guy that we're forgetting, I apologize.
Ty, what's his last name? From Friday.
Ty.
Ty, that's his first name, right?
Yes.
So sorry.
Ty Crawford.
Ty Crawford. That guy was awesome.
Ty Crawford is
Great at his job.
He's
Super nice.
super nice,
Super nice.
great sound guy.
Jim
mean-
Perry does a good job on Sunday nights with
Yeah.
$10,000 Mistake too.
Yeah. I love Jim and Jeff. I love both of them.
Oh, Jeff's great. Jeff's not a sound guy, but Jeff's
Jeff's just a
fun
good guy. He's a fun guy.
Also,
Yeah,
great bass player.
I talked to him the other night at TC's. He goes, "You're Chad's dad."
Yeah, they're awesome. But yeah, man.
Yeah, we're getting close. We're at-
I think as far as sound guys goes, there's a lot of good ones in the state, especially the ones at Temple Live. I mean, their whole sound crew
oh, fuck yeah.
was amazing. They have a really, really good sound crew.
Incredibly
and-
professional, too.
And I mean, like the places we play at, I mean, we go anywhere from in-state, out of state.
Smallest
been-
bars that you'll find to the biggest stages.
Yeah, we
in-state.
do everything, and we've been blessed with good sound guys so
Yeah,
far.
I don't think
mean,
we've had
we haven't
really-
had a really bad experience
No.
yet, and been
Maybe
doing this.
maybe bad experience, but still a good sound guy.
Yeah,
We've never
so
sounded bad out front because of a sound guy.
This is true. Yeah,
That's
And
that's
that
the
comes from
important thing.
Respect your sound guys. They make the world of difference in what you do.
Hence why you should buy an ISO box from Chad Oxley.
This is true. But guys, we're gonna wrap it up here.
Yeah,
This
I think
is-
it's about a good spot,
It's
really.
about a good spot to wrap it up. We will be posting this sometime this week. Hopefully, we're gonna shoot for Monday through Thursday sometime. That'd be pretty cool.
So
Get
most
pretty
of the
neat.
week, yeah.
This is true. This is true. But yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. We record every Sundays. You're gonna have a new episode out every week. Next week we have the one and only Mr. Luke Williams here with us.
Whoa.
Yes, I love Luke.
Yes, that redheaded stranger, ACMA guitarist of the year, the one and only, Mr. Luke Williams. Next week, week 3, we're gonna have Jagger and Tyler. We got Tyler
yes.
Renfro, Jagger Myers coming in. We're gonna do a little debate there. Not really a debate, but we're gonna do a hot topic between classic country and modern country. We're gonna do the Gavin Adcock versus Merle Haggard argument we got going on.
I'm excited for that one.
I'm excited for that too. Dude, Tyler is an incredible singer.
Incredible vocalist.
Tyler Renfro.
Yeah,
is,
no, I
dude,
agree.
Dude is
He's good.
incredible.
Say we still need to pick the mind of Chris Baker a little bit, see what makes him tick and the music wise, you know.
Man,
Yes.
I will say before we get to that, there's something about seeing Tyler Renfro hop on stage, smack his belly, and then kick some ass.
Dude,
You wouldn't expect it.
but yes, in the future
yeah.
weeks, you will get to in the future weeks, you'll get to pick the mind of Chris Baker. I got some cool stuff to tell everybody, some hot takes, some stuff that I want to hear.
That's
And
good.
this one's for Mr. Luke Williams. I think Stevie Ray Vaughan is better than Leonard Skinner. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there
Absolutely.
because we've had this argument for the past 2 days. We've been on the road. I think Stevie Ray Vaughan is more influential. I just think he's better. I'm going to put it that way.
Say
It's going to be a hot take.
That's a good hot take to leave it on. Ain't
We're
it?
going to leave it on that because
That's a
next
very,
week
very
that's
good
what
one.
we're
Keep y'all-
talking
Keep
about.
y'all burning for a week or two.
yeah.
All right, we appreciate
Say-
y'all
But
listening
all right,
to our
we
podcast
appreciate y'all. That is the Gig Leagues with Chris Baker
and friends
and friends.
and family. Actually, that's a good point.